Hello again, Raisa, Shafira, Affandi here. For this session, we're going deeper with close reading poems. We'll look at how to unpack every layer of meaning in a poem. Let's get started. Our learning objective for this module is to understand the basics of close reading and how to apply it to reading poetry. So, as we've established before in this course, the images, emotions, ideas, and impressions that you get from a poem are delivered to you through words. A popular technique for thinking about how words are working to build these reactions is called close reading. What is close reading? Close reading is reading with a focus on the text itself, looking at every single element in detail. It's a consideration of style, language, form, and structure to figure out how the text is doing what it does. It's also a movement away from background knowledge, meaning we don't think about things outside the text, like the author's personality or culture, but only what's in the text itself. Finally, close reading is the foundation of literary study. Although now, pure close reading is rare, sometimes background knowledge or things not in the text are included, such as the text context or social movements related to it, but it usually still begins with close reading. The other stuff comes later. According to I.A. Richards, who developed close reading, the purpose of close reading is to prepare the way for educational methods more efficient than those we use now in developing discrimination and the power to understand what we hear and read. It's also a new technique for those who wish to discover for themselves what they should think and feel about poetry and other things, and why they should like or dislike it. So it's very personal. It's according to each and every person. Now, how do we apply this to our immersive way of reading poetry, where impressions come before analyzing words? First, as we've established before, you can think about how does this poem make you feel? What images and ideas appear in your head? Do any parts strike you? If so, why and how? So then, you can think about why and how the poem makes you feel the way it does, using what's inside the poem itself. For example, you can think about the word choice, the rhythm, the line breaks, or anything else in the poem. So let's look at that poem on the left by Laureen Niedeckers. I walked on New Year's Day beside the trees, my father now gone planted, evenly following the road. Each spoke. So to give you an example of a close reading, here's my own reaction and close reading of the poem. For me, the most emotional part of the poem, or the part that stood out most, is in the last part, each spoke. Because I noticed in that part, the stanza structure changes, and there's also lots of space, with each line only having one word, very different from the stanzas above. It's also very interesting to think about trees speaking. Now, for me, this makes it seem like the trees speak and live in a calmer, slower way than the person walking by them, because of the space between the words. The space also reminds me of silence, which is what most trees probably do instead of literally speaking. So let's review what we've learned. Close reading is a technique for thinking about how words are working to give you, the reader, a specific reaction. It focuses on the elements of the text itself instead of things outside the text. But when reading poetry for enjoyment, remember, your personal impressions are where you begin. Only then can analysis of it follow. Then the next part of this course will look at several elements of poetry that you can close read. Great work! You're now better equipped to dig beneath the surface of any poem you encounter. See you in the next session!